What's going on, guys? It's me, the Hex Scout from NY. See, Razor here, and today we are back with Season 5, Week 4 of the NPL. And this week, we are going to be going up against RobbenVaart, a good friend of mine, coach of the Austin Tauros. And for us, it's a very crucial matchup. Right now, we are 0-3, minus 11 differential. We are not in a really good spot right now. We need to be able to pull off a win. And this is also just an inter-division battle between me and him. And I would really like a win. It would definitely be able to help us in the long run here, and we really need it. So, our matchup against Rob's team, it's not great for us. It really isn't. We did get a lot of free agents and trades that went through, and I'm going to be talking about that now, and I'm going to show you guys on the screen here. So, we were able to trade Blaziken, Ferrothorn, and Hippowdon for Entei, Terrakion, and Hydreigon, and we were able to drop Tornadus Eye, Skuntank, Octillery, and what the hell was that last mon? Licky for Drapion, Steelix, Sceptile, and Togetic. So, right now we're actually looking a lot better than we did at the start of the season. We have a lot more threats than we did before, especially with the Entei, the Terrakion, and Hydreigon. We have a nice hard hitter in Drapion. We have a nice Steel type with Steelix to replace Ferrothorn. We're looking pretty good. So, starting off, looking over the team that we have for Rob, we have End of an Era, the Mega Latias, and it is the end of an era because this is the end of the era of me losing every single goddamn game this season with Default Calm Mind, Dragon Pulse, and Psyshock. And now, Rob does have things like Mega Scizor and stuff like that, but you can actually see I actually don't have Hidden Power Fire. And there's, like, I would have to say my reasoning for that is his team has a lot of 4 types weaknesses, and I didn't want to stick myself to one hidden power, because then it would kind of be useless against a lot of other things. The only thing would be useful for would pretty much be the Mega Scizor. So, I didn't really, originally I did have it, but I didn't really see a point of bringing it after a couple tests. And I do have defog for the Galvantula if he does set up sticky webs against my team. So, moving on, we have 3J, the Hydreigon, Choice Scarf Hydreigon. Basically just because we want to be able to gain offensive momentum with this thing. We want to be able to hit hard, and then also just be able to outspeed whatever he has on his team. And we do have Draco, U-Turn, Flash Cannon, Flamethrower for things like Tangrowth, Mega Scizor, Galvantula, U-Turn just to be able to get offensive momentum, Flash Cannon for Forges, and just dropping Dracos on anything else that's not a Fairy type. Then we got Maddie Brawlic the Drapion, because look at those damn arms. Sugarberry Drapion with Swords Dance, Earthquake, Poison Jab, and Knockoff. Originally, I had a Double Dance set with Swords Dance and Agility, but with that set, I wasn't able to get the amount of coverage I needed for his entire team. So I replaced Agility with Knockoff, and I think it was definitely a great decision for me. And it has the Sugarberry because it's pretty much meant to be able to set up on things like it's able to be able to set up and then take hits from things like Tangrowth and Nidoqueen, who would have Ground Stab. Ground Stab for Nidoqueen, not Ground Stab for Tangrowth, just ground coverage in general. Then we have King Midas the Steelix here. Max attack, max special defense actually, because we want to be able to like live hits from live at least like special hits from Tangrowth if he does have it, at least live a hit from Nidoqueen, or maybe Latios. And we do have Stealth. We have Stealth Rock, Explosion, Earthquake, and I heard Stealth Rocks are really nice against this team. He does have Arcanine, Galvantula, Mega Scizor. Obviously, he does have Defogs with the Latios and the Mega Scizor and other things like that. But if we're able to keep these on the field long enough and be able to get rid of his Defoggers, then that's actually really, really good for us. And then we have Pompey the Great the Entei with Charcoal. And now the reason I put Charcoal on here is pretty much because, like I said, this Entei is pretty much very one-sided for his team. Pretty much the only thing that walls this Entei would be the Fizdef Arcanine or Seismitoad. And everything else on his team, well, barring some things if it's not that effective, get hit really hard with Sacred Fire. And if this power of Sacred Fire is just maximized a little bit without making us Choice Lock, because Choice Locked Entei against his team is actually not that great, especially if he does bring the Seismitoad, or if he does have full Fizdef Arcanine, it's not that great for us. So that's why I just decided to use Charcoal instead. And then we have Riptile, Azumarill, Belly Drum set, and these EVs on the screen right here were not the actual EVs I brought to the match. These were the EVs I was supposed to bring to the match. These were the EVs I brought to the match. I brought Max HP instead. And I'm going to explain to you guys later why these EVs kind of affected how I played the match. Whether for good or for worse, I'm going to explain it to you later when we get to the replay. But that's the team we have this week. That's the team that we're going with. That is the squad that is going to give us our first victory in this league. I really need this win. So that's it for now, guys. I will see you when we get to the replay. Hey guys, what's going on? I'm here back with the replay. Once again, this is NPL Season 5, Week 4, against my good friend RobbenVaart, coach of the Austin Tauros. And I'm looking at the team preview right now. I'm going to say when I was testing, he did bring a couple things that, one, I did test against, and a lot of things that I didn't test against. Because, like I said during the team review that you guys just saw, his team has a lot of potential to sweep us, especially with things like Greninja, Scarf Braviary. He can slow down my entire team, barring the Levitators with the Sticky Webs Galvantula. And it's just a very difficult matchup for me. And even here, things that I didn't expect him to bring. The Arcanine has the potential to just completely wall my Entei. The Tangrowth just completely walls my Steelix and my Azumarill. The floor just stops me from just spamming Scarf Draco Meteor. And it's definitely going to make the game a lot more difficult for me, even though he didn't bring a lot of other threats like the Sticky Webs or Seismitoad or like a lot of other stuff like that. So going into the game, I'm going to start off with my Hydreigon. He's going to start off with his Nidoqueen. I'm just going to go straight for U-turn. I don't want any part of that. But him switching out kind of means that he's probably not a defensive Nidoqueen. So I'm going to go into Mediblock. I'm actually going to set up a Swords Dance here. And now, the reason why I switched out there is because I was doing calcs. And if he was a full Fizdef Arcanine, I wanted to do two things. I wanted to calc it, and I calced for full Fizdef Arcanine, and a +1 Earthquake from the Drapion only does about 40-ish%, and two, if it is full Fizdef Arcanine, it is most likely going to be carrying Will-O-Wisp, and I did not want that Drapion to be burned, because that would just make it set up fodder for anything else. So I'm going to switch straight into the Entei here, as he actually goes for Flamethrower, so he's a bit special, probably for the Steelix, so I know that now, and now I went for Stone Edges, he switched into the Tank Growth. I'm actually going to just go for a Sacred Fire here. I'm going to get a crit, it's going to do some damage. It's not really going to matter though. I am going to go for a Stone Edge here, try to get a crit again. But he is just going to Morning Sun back up. At this point, I'm just trying to see what his set is. If he's carrying Willowit, and I see Toxic here. So when I see the Toxic here, what I'm basically thinking is either he's double status or doesn't have Will-O-Wisp. And I was thinking, like, what else could he have? And, you know, I was just going through my mind, and it pretty much came to me like, oh, he probably has something just to be able to hit my Wolverine, so he probably has E-Speed. And I was just thinking about this in the middle of the match, just thinking, like, before I even made the switch, like, what else could he have that wouldn't be a status move or an offensive move, because Extreme Speed would be the only thing that would make sense in that situation if he didn't have Will-O-Wisp. So I'm just going to U-turn again with the Hydreigon in case he did go back into the Forges. He's going to Morning Sun up. And now, without the Intimidate, I'm going to get up a Swords Dance. And the Flamethrower is going to do a lot. And here, I went for Knockoff. And the reason I went for Knockoff here is because Aqua Tail, Earthquake would have done a lot, almost maybe even killed the Arcanine from that range. I actually don't think it would have killed because I did calc for EQ. I don't think it would have killed from that range. But the other reason I went for Knockoff here is because I thought that either EQ or Aqua Jet, that was a very, very obvious thing. And even though he could have just stayed in and Flamethrower me again, maybe he could have killed me, or maybe got the 10% chance to burn, I did go for Knockoff, because even if he stayed in with the Arcanine, 1, the Knockoff would have done a lot of damage, and 2, it would have knocked off his leftovers, which would be really good for me. But the fact that I thought the Earthquake was just really, really obvious, I went for Knockoff expecting that Latios to come in, because I was sitting there, I was like, and immediately my mind just went, I'm not clicking EQ, I'm clicking Knockoff, because he's going to switch into the Latios. Like, that was just my basic instinct right there, that he was going to switch into Latios. And it worked out for me, and I did get rid of his Latios, which is really good for me. One of his strongest attackers is now gone. Now here I'm actually going to go for Knockoff again, for the reason that I said before, I'm going to get rid of his leftovers. And he does reveal his last move, which is Extreme Speed, like I thought. So here I'm just going to go back into Arcanine. I'm going to try to go for a Stone Edge, could have killed from that range, but he is just going to Morning Sun back up. And expecting him to try to Toxic the Entei and try to whittle it down, because the Entei is a huge threat to his team, I'm just going to go back into Hydreigon, U-turn out again, so Entei doesn't get Toxic. I'm going to go right into my Steelix here. And here, predicting the Tank Growth coming, I'm going to go into my Entei, and then try and scout for like a Toxic on his Tank Growth. I'm going to go right back in my Hydreigon. I'm going to go for the Flamethrower. It's not going to kill. And in hindsight, the reason I went for a Flamethrower was that I was kind of scared of the Forge just switching in, but I guess after going for a U-turn so many times, I probably should have expected that he didn't go into Forge, because a Draco would have killed it. But it's actually better that I went for Flamethrower here, so you'll see later in the match why it's actually kind of better. So he's going to go for Leech Seed. He's like a stalled Tank Growth, which kind of pissed me off in the middle of the game. Because he had the Arcanine, he has the Tank Growth with the stall. I just did not like it. So he is going to go right into the Arcanine when I go for Sacred Fire. And I'm going to go into a Azumarill now, because there's nothing else on my team that I really want Toxic. I don't want the Steelix against it because of Flamethrower. And I'm just going to go straight for a Waterfall. And he actually switched into a Scizor here. I'm going to get really good damage on that. I think he was expecting an Ice Punch for the Tank Growth. So here I'm going to go into my Steelix against the Scizor. He's going to go into his Tank Growth. I'm going to set up my Rocks while he tries to get up Leech Seed, and he's going to double Leech Seed again instead of switching Hydreigon, which is a good play. And I'm just going to U-turn straight out. Oh no, I actually Flamethrower it again, because I was thinking maybe he would stay in, but right now Hydreigon's really low. It's very near death right now. He's going to go for the Wish, and I was thinking maybe he would do it into Tank Growth, but again, I probably should have thought a little more ahead. He's going to do it into Arcanine. And I'm going to go for Sacred Fire. It's going to do nothing. We're going to go into the Steelix here. And he actually switched out. Instead of going for Pointer, he's going to go into his Tangrowth. I'm going for EQ. And I'm back full health. I have my Sturdy again. I'm going to go right back into the Entei as he goes for Leech Seed. And I'm going to go for Sacred Fire here. But the full Fizz Def Tangrowth takes it really well. But I do get the burn, which is amazing for me. That is amazing residual damage against this thing, especially with the Regenerator. So I'm going to go into my Hydreigon. And with one last final hurrah, it's going to die to an E-Speed and do nothing. So here I'm going to go into my Azumarill, and expecting him to switch out from Arcanine, I Belly Drum. And now, this is what I was talking about with the EVs that I said before, and how it was potentially good or bad for me. So Tangrowth and Azumarill are the same speed tier. And what I thought he would do was, I knew he was going to be like a defensive Tangrowth, but, you know, in this league, there's like a lot of people who come up with these IV spreads for specific things, and, you know, I do the same thing too, and he does the same thing too. So, originally, my thought when going against something like this, I was thinking that he would have enough speed to speed creep my Azumarill. And that's where those last 60 EVs in speed went. It was supposed to speed creep a speed creeping Tangrowth. But Showdown actually deleted my teams after I made that team and tested with it. And so when I remade it and actually changed some things after testing, I forgot to put in the speed EVs. And so I was very scared here into potentially whether it was going to outspeed or not, or for so because of that, I actually went for an Aqua Jet here, and you're going to see he actually lives on 1%. And now I'm actually going to explain why this was actually good for me, because right now here he's going to call my Azumarill, but if I was able to kill the Tangrowth with that Aqua Jet, he would have just gotten a free switch and a free Mega into a Scizor, which is going to come into importance later in the match. And so here, I'm going to go for Megalitis, and I think he thought he was expecting me to Calm Mind, he was going to go for a Toxic, but I didn't want to take the chance, so I just completely went for a Psyshock first. And I'm actually going to, maybe he thought I was a defensive spread and not max special attack spread, so he switched into the Arcanine, so I kill him with a Dragon Pulse, and like right now it went from 5-3 to 3-3 in those 2 turns, and that's really good for me. So here he's actually going to go into Fortress, and I actually switched out into Steelix, predicting Moonblast. I didn't want to play the Mega Latias was my win condition. I didn't want to play poorly this game, and so because I knew he was going to go into Scizor, and I didn't want to be free setup father, I just switched straight back into my Mega Latias. I went for a Dragon Pulse against Scizor, maybe if he stayed in, because I'm pretty sure I could have killed from that range with the D-Pulse. But he actually does switch out, and he goes in Fortress, and I'm actually going to go for a Calm Mind here, as he wishes. And he's going to go Wish into the Scizor, and it is after the match, it was confirmed that it was a bulky max HP, max attack, like a Scizor, but he was never able to get the Mega off, so he wasn't able to get like the added defenses that a Mega Scizor has over regular Scizor, and that's where that Aqua Jet actually came to play, because if that Aqua Jet actually could have killed, I feel like it actually could have been worse for me if it actually did that, because he would have been able to get on the Mega Scizor, get a free Mega off, and then kill me with a Bullet Punch, and I wouldn't be able to, and I wouldn't have anything to be able to deal with something like this. So I have a Calm Mind up. He's gonna go into the Fortress, and I'm just gonna go straight for Psyshock. It's mixed defense, it doesn't kill. He's gonna go for Moonblast. He's actually gonna get special attack drop too, but it doesn't matter. He goes for Protect just to stall me out a little bit. And here, I'm just going to be able to Psyshock the Fortress. He's going to go into Nidoqueen, it is actually revealed that it's actually a Scarf Dome Queen, but he can't walk into anything. That's going to be able to kill my entire team, so even if that went down, wouldn't matter. I'm just going to go for Side Shocking again, and we are going to win the match. Megalodios pulling the team, getting 5 kills, and is now 2nd place in the running for the MVP. And we finally get our first win in our division at that. Rob played a very good game. He played very well. The end game, he did make a couple plays that I was able to capitalize on, but all in all, it was a great game. We finally get our first one. We're on the board, 1-3 minus 8. We're not in last place anymore, guys. We're not in last place. So, hopefully we can keep the streak for later weeks. Hopefully, it'll be better for us. And hopefully, maybe we can even make it to playoffs. From a 0-3 to make it into playoffs. That would be amazing. So, GG to Rob. That was a great game. Great guy. Make sure to go check out his channel. His channel will be in the link in the description below. Also, make sure to go check out the NPL's official channel, which will also be in the link in the description below, where you can see things like the weekly recap, the power rankings, the sets of the week, all by our analysts. And if you liked the video, make sure you beat up that like button, comment in the comment section below, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more New York Metangs NPL content. I'll see you guys later.